Hi guys, welcome to the Bad Beckers Wrestling Podcast. I'm Smoothman. I'm here with Jack, and we're also here with Kev.
Some Bad Beckers.
Bad Bookers, I said. First things first, we need to get this out of the way before we end up going to NXT UK in Cambridge. We've inadvertently come past the Cambridge Chop House, which is where I am going to get chopped for my punishment video for many a pay-per-views. So I'm going to get chopped twice on the chest by either Jack or Kev or both. I think it's one each. I don't want to do it.
I'm right-handed.
Where am I standing?
Can you see the corner? Can you see it in the background, Kev?
Yeah. Smoothman looks terrified. How you feeling, Smooth? Oh wow. Oh yes.
That really hurt.
Oh, that was awesome. What a sound as well.
I know.
Oh, please don't run up. Just don't. Just do it. Just go. Oh! You got me right there. I think my career as a professional wrestler has stopped right now because that really hurts, and if that's gonna hurt, then I don't want to do any
The
more.
other thing, of course, is the phenomenal forearm.
We're not doing a phenomenal forearm. Hello guys, welcome back. There's Kev. What a night of wrestling.
Fantastic.
We've just got out. You will see none of the footage that was inside. We weren't allowed to film it for obvious reasons because it's a taping.
We didn't want to spoil it.
And we didn't want to spoil it for you guys. Kevin!
You see you needed it, no?
So what we'll do is, we're just going to go back to the car now. We'll do a full comprehensive review of the night. And some breaking news about how I've turned into a massive heel on Twitter. And we're back in the car. We just had a McDonald's or
I
a
had
KFC.
KFC.
Yeah. Kev, how was your McDonald's?
I don't know why they put cheese on a fillet of fish. It doesn't make sense to me. If you make a fish finger sandwich, you just put fish fingers, tartar sauce, bread. You don't put cheese on there. Why do McDonald's put cheese on everything?
Don't know.
Cheese is good, that's why.
So.
Is that it? We done?
No, we're not done.
Oh.
Let's talk about the wrestling.
I thought this was your McDonald's podcast.
It's not a McDonald's podcast, it's the Bad Bookers Wrestling Podcast. So NXT Cambridge UK night 2, 3 hours or so?
3 and a bit.
3 and a bit hours of wrestling promos. We have a feeling that's not how it's going to be throughout the night, as in order. It's probably all going to be moved around a little bit, but we've got a new Scottish kind of faction that's brewed over the night.
Scottish Shield.
Yeah, we've named them the Scottish Shield. It's Wolfgang and the two Coffee Brothers, who got a lot of heat in terms of chants. Some of the chants from the UK crowd are hilarious. We had PG Tips in reference to their surname, Decaf. Just usual.
Explain that one as well. People might not understand.
Decaf coffee.
Thanks, Smoothman.
You're welcome. And numerous ones which I'm not going to share because they were swearing, and I don't swear. Due to popular belief, I don't.
Family-friendly car.
Family-friendly car. Yeah, Kev swears.
I don't.
Okay.
I've never heard Kev swear in his life.
Don't they?
Jack got to see Killer Kelly.
I did. My favourite. Absolute favourite. I could nibble her thighs out.
She was only on the dark match though, wasn't she?
Yes, it was
I-
a pre-show. Like,
No, I
pre-show.
don't think she was she?
Well, yeah, because they then I forgot his name. Andy Shepherd then announced the show was starting, wasn't it?
Oh yeah.
I assume it's like a pre-show dark match kind of thing.
Maybe it was. Maybe it was.
Against Pete Dunne's mate. Millie McKenzie.
Oh, Millie McKenzie, yeah. Yeah, Millie
The
McKenzie.
Bruiser mates, I think they're called. Aren't
They are indeed. We did get to see Pete Dunne. Talking of Pete Dunne, probably match of the night. Do we think?
they? Yes.
Of course.
Definite main event.
Was his brother the jobber, by the way?
No, so there was a jobber who was in a match against Dave Mastiff, who's called No Fun Done. Those of you who watch any
It was called
progress,
something weird, wasn't it?
yeah, he was called something different, but the crowd knew straight away who he was and started shouting "Ain't no fun" and "Fun Police" and things like that. So, but no, they're not related.
I thought they were brothers.
They're not.
I think they are. To the internet. You carry on with your little podcast
we'll,
while I do some googling.
Cool. I think we saw a lot of the Coffee Brothers. I think these potential three episodes are going to be the build of
It
that
definitely felt like
storyline.
3 weeks worth of build. Isn't it?
Yeah, 3 weeks of build. It started off with Wolfgang, and then they recruited
So it
him
was
later on.
Wolfgang versus Mark Andrews, which Mark Andrews won. I think.
I can't remember. We said we weren't going to give spoilers out, and
It's not
we've
too much of a spoiler, is it?
We've not gone too far. We've gone a bit.
And then they shook hands. The two Coffee Brothers came out, beat down Mark Andrews, and Wolfgang stood at the stage for about 10 minutes watching it.
It didn't
Who
look like
came
it was.
out? Flash Morgan Webster came
Yeah,
out.
Flash Morgan Webster came out to help him. It seems like they're going to be together in some sort of tag team capacity, and then Wolfgang looked like to come in and help because they were getting beaten down, and then just turned on him. So that was good. We then had, which is where the night gets a bit weird and funny. I've got genuine heat with Jordan Devlin. So Jordan Devlin had 2 matches tonight, and the first one I decided to start a chant of B-Tech Balor, which went down quite well with the crowd because they started chanting with me.
There was a fair few.
There was a fair few. I then tweeted it out on our Twitter. If you don't follow us on Twitter, at BadBookersWP.
What does the WP stand for?
Wrestling podcast.
Okay.
Um,
I'm still googling, by the way.
okay, good. And I tweeted it out, and I got numerous abuse from sweaty marks on the internet.
You're an embarrassment.
Our favorite, the
You're a
favorite one
gremlin.
was Gremlin, and you're an embarrassment. I did then get a retweet from Jordan Devlin with a comment saying that tweet banged. You should be proud of yourself, which I then
No, I'm not down with the kids. What on earth does that mean?
I have no idea.
To me,
Do you know what that means?
That sounds like a positive
when,
review
a
to
tweet,
me.
Yeah.
when a tweet bangs, it's when it's really popular. You wouldn't know, Kev. None of your tweets get it.
I think it's really popular in a bad way. I think
No,
he's.
it's in a good way.
Was he being sarcastic?
He was being sarcastic.
Yeah, I
to
thought
them,
so.
yes.
But yeah, I replied with him saying, it's a shame he didn't finish the match with a coup de grace because I'd have popped so
Spell coup
hard.
de grace right now.
COUPEDEGRACE.
I have no idea if that's right. I've got no signal here, by the way. I'm going to assume they're
Good.
brothers.
Good. But yeah, so if you are an avid follower and that offended you, whatever. It was a
It
joke.
offended the crowd because the second time you tried it, it just
Oh,
absolutely
it was silence, yeah.
The crowd actually seemed to draw sound out of the room the second time you tried to start it. It was quite impressive. I could hear my heart beating.
There were several chants about Balor.
Yeah, I wasn't the only one. Your Finn Balor came up. I'm not going to swear again, Jack. No,
I don't swear.
no, you don't. But then we had, I just got massive heat, and I'm now.
It's the last
Real
time,
good-
Last time you used the Twitter account.
Yeah, apparently I've been banished from using the Twitter because I offend wrestlers.
And internet marks.
And internet marks, yeah. So, hello to you lot. Overall, what do we think? of the brand
It's
of
the
the
worst
NXT.
location for wrestling in the history of the world. That's what I think. Triple H, if you're watching, does Triple H watch?
I think so.
Triple
Well,
H, if you're
he doesn't, he's
watching,
missing out.
don't go back to that stupid place where you can't see the ring. I had 2 5-foot-tall women sat in front of me and couldn't see over their heads. It was clearly a theatre meant for seeing the stage. If you put the ring in front of the stage where people are supposed to be sitting down, then us in the cheap seats at the top can't see the sweaty graps.
If
It
you're sat
troubles
next
me.
to the ring, then it's fine. But as
Yeah.
you're
Peterborough
up
Ice Arena would have been better.
Or Peterborough Arena in general would have been better.
I don't know about that. It's in a rough area.
Yeah,
Same
but it's in
Cambridge,
walking
isn't it?
distance from my house, though. Is that why? Yeah, if we were originally sat about 3/4 of the way up, and you could tell that they didn't sell the seats because they made us move. Because what they've done is, where the stage is, they've actually put the hard cam inside the LED screen,
where they come out,
looking back on the stage, which is odd. It's very odd. It was weird to see wrestlers go and do their kind of shtick, their promos,
is
whatever,
something
in the
NXT
opposite
have done
direction
before.
from the crowd.
When NXT's toured before, when it's not in Florida, that's how they do it there as well. They stick the ring at one end of a small building to make it look like it's busier, because the Corn Exchange only holds about 1,000 people, I think, and they didn't come close to selling it out. So
No.
you can't have people all the way around the ring without it looking like they're only 3 rows deep. So it's just a trick for the TV tapings
Yeah.
to make it look like, oh, we've got 2 tiers of all these people here, when in actual fact they're only on one side of the ring.
Indeed, and we were having this conversation. I think Kev brought this up as we were walking away from the Corn Exchange itself, and I thought I really agree with this. This doesn't bode well for the longevity of the brand if you cannot sell out arenas like that, and you have fans that are swearing a lot.
Was the first night sold out?
I have no idea.
I don't know either.
I'll have to find out. But there's a lot of swearing. There's a lot of
Typical British crowd.
typical inappropriate British crowds. That's what we're famous for, especially if you watch in America and you watch any of the tapings in the UK. Our crowds are very, very vocal.
To the point where it could actually hamper the push of some of their top stars, because Toni Storm, if they're going to chant Tony effing Storm every time she's in the ring, they can't push Toni Storm. What's his face? The Scouse chap, whose name I can't remember.
Zach Gibson.
Yeah, constant abuse, but he's top heel, but you can't push him as top heel if the crowd are going to swear at him constantly.
Yeah, he tried to do a promo after he won his match tonight, and the promo didn't start because we were booing him for a long time. And obviously the stand up, sit down for if you hate Zach Gibson, shoes off if you hate Zach Gibson, which is funny and is family friendly. But then it started going into Scouse references and swearing at him, and
Probably why they brought out Trent Seven.
I genuinely
Most
think that's
family-friendly
probably why they did it. And Trent Seven's promo in return was hilarious. I thought he was going to say some inappropriate things at one point because of the way he was talking about
He was
it.
also trying to take his shoe off, which he couldn't. I appreciate.
Yeah, trying to unlace his boots to do the
It
shoes
does
off.
make you think that man doesn't put his own shoes on, which I like to think that's the case.
Yeah. I don't know. I like the fact we've got our own brand and
It was
it's
a very
NXT.
good night. Just the venue was weird.
Yeah, venue was weird. The crowd was amazing if you're there, but I really want to see how it turns out.
You think that venue's weird? The next one's at the Insomnia Gaming Festival. They're not even pushing it as it's at the NEC. I don't know if they're putting it in the arena that they've got at the NEC, or if they're genuinely putting it in some weird side hall of Insomnia, because that's how they're pushing it, as Insomnia Gaming Festival. Surely it's going to be in the arena at the NEC, but that's not how they're advertising it anywhere.
I know that's. And then I think
How
the only legitimate place they're going to put it is the Plymouth one. I think the Plymouth one is actually in the middle, like there's
seen
people
it.
around. I think I saw the layout. I wanted to have a look to see how it would be different to what we were going to see. But yeah, weird venue, very funny crowd. I think the recordings will show how much they edit. We don't know when the recordings are coming out. We assume it's going to be on the network within the next month.
But I think WWE have got to make a decision if it's an actual British wrestling, indie wrestling product, or if it's WWEified, and if it is, that wasn't ready for that wasn't a WWE product that we saw tonight.
No. I think the
I
network.
think they can get away with. NXT isn't really built as this kind of family-friendly thing. Like, a lot of it's just the hardcore fans watch it, so they might get away with it slightly.
And as well with the network, you can filter it.
Yeah.
Because if you watch anything that's old WWE, it'll come up with TV MA, and then we'll say it's normally things like old Divas where you had Sable come out wearing literally nothing, or I don't know, the Stone Cold flipping the bird. You can take away the idea of that's it. We're not going to put this as PG. We'll put it as TVMA, and therefore, if you're watching it on the network, if you've got your family-friendly settings on, it won't be allowed to be played. That's how I see it maybe happening, but we'll see. The edits might change.
I'll tell you what I found particularly interesting about the whole thing, having never been to a TV taping before, it was how in control of everything the referees are, pre-match, post-match, and I just found myself sitting there watching the referees and all the hand signals that they're giving to the wrestlers, saying, right, you need, when they're trying to do a promo and the refs there going, no, you need to whip the crowd up a little bit more before you can start the promo, or right, you're on the turnbuckle and almost counting down, you've got another 3 seconds on the turnbuckle, then you're coming down. It was quite interesting to see the behind the scenes of how the referees have obviously got the earpiece and are controlling everything that's going on.
I think I mentioned this when we went to see Strong Style of Evolved UK about how I watched the action outside the ring, Okada waiting to get in, and I think you mentioned this during one of the tag matches. Tyler Bate was outside the ring for a long time just watching, and you could see him wait. You could see him waiting to jump in and break up a hold, and I noticed the people with the headsets on who aren't necessarily the refs are going, look, you need to get them going. You need to get. Yeah, there was a lot for Pete Dunne. He was told about 4 times to hold the title up. And he wouldn't do it because they wanted him to hold it above his head, two-handed. That's what they were trying to get him to do, and obviously that's not what Pete Dunne does. No, he's never done that. He puts it in his mouth and gets really angry. But
he kept turning around to face us rather than looking at the hard cam, and it's... I mean, I wonder how long they're going to keep the title on him if he can't follow simple instruction about... I mean, that's a big deal in WWE. If you can't look into the hard cam, then that's... Right, you're not on TV for 6 months now. Learn to look in a camera, idiot.
Yeah. Or he might be futured endeavoured.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, I think the wrestling was excellent. The promos were excellent. Venue, not so good. Crowd.
Well, it was nice, only being 45 minutes from home. That was nice.
Yeah.
If they want to do it in a field nearby, I think someone told me there's a football team in Cambridge. Apparently, it doesn't sound legit to me, but just stick it in the middle of their grassy bit, and we'll sit around that. Open air wrestling.
What happens if it rains?
Make it wet.
Well, they do WrestleMania and.
Yeah, but they have a canopy though, don't they? So they don't get wet.
They get a tarp. Simple.
Gazebo.
Exactly.
In the UK, we don't have anything. But I think, without giving anything too much away, it's interesting to see how it's going to go. The next tapings aren't for another month, so I assume this will probably come out. Yeah.
Yeah, end of August, 25th, 26th, I think, is Insomnia. It'll be interesting to see if the show's made the network before the next tapings, or if they go back to the drawing board and what we've seen tonight never sees the light of day.
I think that's a waste. I think the crowd will get very annoyed for those of people who've paid money to go and see it.
Yeah.
No, we still got a show.
Yeah.
They could set. It was definitely structured around 6 episodes coming out of that. It'll be interesting to see if they get 6. Or whether it's shaved down to slightly fewer. And you pick... I mean, there were some excellent matches. The Mustache Mountain tag match was very entertaining. The Tony Storm Dakota Kai match was very entertaining.
Very good.
The obviously the Pete Dunne Danny Burch match was very good. So you could certainly get 1 or 2 really good shows out of it. The rest of it, some of it was a little bit questionable, especially with how the crowd were getting involved, and there were times where the crowd just didn't care. It was 3.5 hours of sitting and watching wrestling, and when you've got 2 jobbers out there that you've never heard of 2.5 hours into a 3.5 hour wrestling show, it's pretty hard to get invested in that.
Yeah, and it was warm in there.
Yeah.
You've got the big lights, and it was warm before the big lights came on, and then the lights did come on, all the ring paraphernalia and all that, and it's just absolutely sweltering.
Interesting, different colour scheme for NXT UK than normal NXT.
It was red, wasn't it?
It was.
Red ropes. Only last thing that I've got a disappointment with was Travis Banks got himself injured before the tapings.
I mean, it's quite selfish of him, really.
Yeah, very selfish of him. Bless him.
Apparent
That's probably, we're
dislocated
calling out another wrestler here, we need to be careful. I saw a tweet before we went into the corn exchange which said, from Progress, Travis Banks is dislocated his shoulder, won't be turning up to the next event for Progress, which is soon, I believe. But we then had a video package
They
during
did
it.
announce that Travis Banks was facing Wolfgang, didn't they?
Yes, they did.
I thought that was weird. I didn't think that was necessary to announce him to us and then show us an 8-second clip of him lying down on the floor. Just don't tell us he's there. It seems weird to do that.
I think they did it because they'd announced on Twitter with all the photos, so-and-so's going to be in Cambridge, so-and-so's going to be in Cambridge, and Travis Banks was the last one to be named, I think.
Was the audience?
Because they were doing
But
it.
you could
each
just
week.
announce, it's a TV taping. You could. I know you've got to record that segment for the TV taping, but for the live crowd, you could just have Matey Boy beforehand say, "Look, Travis Banks is injured.
Yeah.
He ain't gonna wrestle." Playing the video clip on a 32-inch telly for us to see from 80 yards away just seemed a little bit odd.
And it was. I think they did it because people were expecting to see him, and they needed to fill
Stick with
that
the
void.
storyline, Kevin. Come on.
Yeah, they had to put a storyline in to say, look, this is why he wasn't wrestling because he's been attacked.
We never found out who attacked him.
Well, we assume it was the Coffee Brothers, don't we?
Yeah,
We can only assume.
yeah. If it's Wolfgang being involved with them, that put two and two together, I think.
Well, Johnny Saint was the only one nearby. Perhaps he did it.
That's true.
We didn't see him in the ring, did we?
We saw
Tonight?
him walking out.
We
No,
saw him
'cause,
leaving at the end with all the other
Apparently,
wrestlers.
he made a bit of a hash of every bit of talking he had to do the night before. So they might have already had a bit of a rethink on how involved he's going to be in the ring. Because when he did the initial announcement at the UK Championship thing, it was a bit iffy, and apparently he was a bit iffy on the mic again last night. I mean, he is like 80 years old.
Yeah, he's probably not spoken in front of a crowd for a little
Yeah.
Yeah.
So perhaps they're
World of Sport was a
scaling
bit
back
different, wasn't it, back in the
how
day?
much in-ring mic time he's going to have.
No trips either. But what are you going to do?
I'm going to drive home.
Yes, I agree. We need to go home. Once again,
Finish your podcast, Smoothman.
Once again, thank you very much for watching this vlog. Sorry there was no evidence of the actual event itself. I did try and
You
capture
didn't go to the event.
Shut your face.
That's why you haven't done any match results.
I've tried to put
You
whatever...
just sat at home trolling people.
No spoilers.
I did try to make it so that we weren't allowed to film. That's what we've been told. But again, thank you for watching. Follow us at Bad Bookers WP. The WP stands for
I know word.
Wrestling Podcast, Kevin.
Okay.
Redlin.
Redlin.
Redlin. It's because I've got Devlin on the brain.
Wriggling podcast.
Give us a like, give us a follow.
Back door opens.
Thank you very much for watching.
Bye, everybody.
And goodbye.
Bye.
And we're back in the car. It's been a fun-filled day.
Who are you talking to?
Can always do an outtake bit.
At the end, yeah.